What I like about this song is it starts off with this cool little, just a little walking bass line that leads into various different chords. I really enjoy that. It's in standard tuning, and we start off in the first measure. The first beat is a rest, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's one. So it kind of starts off like that. I'm doing that with my thumb pick. And I go into an A chord, and I'm just going to be strumming it down with alternating bass like that. So I have. Now the next bar, I play a bass line leading into a D chord, alternating bass, and then another little bass line leading back to the A chord. A chord, bass. A little bass line leading down to the E chord. And out here we have a little bass line leading to the B7. Into the B7, to the 4th string, back to the 5, and then a bass line back to the E. And then the band just sort of hangs on this, going back and forth for... I don't know why they're doing that so long. Maybe Johnny was putting his cigarette out. I don't know. Then it goes into the verse. Now I grab the B chord here. I have my thumb wrapped around Travis style on the 6th string at the 7th fret, and my other fingers come in on the notes like this. Now, if that's a little too difficult for you, okay, because the alternating bass here goes between the 6th and the 4th string, but you don't necessarily have to have that between the 6th and the 4th string. If you want, you can play it like this, a bar chord that most are familiar with, and just put the bass between the 6th and the 5th string instead. It doesn't make any difference which one you want to do, but the top notes, they should remain the same. So for the sake of the video that I did earlier, I'm going to use this form, but you can use this form if you'd like. So here's the first measure. I'm sorry, the first measure here. So I'm grabbing the 1st and 2nd string. I'm sorry, grabbing the 3rd and 2nd string with my index and middle finger. So I have into the next measure, and I stretch. I get the A note, and then back to the G sharp note, and then pick up and get the F sharp note. So I have. So a little bit of a practice here. You got to get then stretch, then back. Meanwhile, keeping that alternating bass going. Now I get into my E chord, and here I want to bar. And I'll tell you why I want to bar this instead of just having it like this. We'll see as it comes up. But for the time being, just kind of bar either the first 3 or the first 4 strings here. You're going to get this E chord, which is a very versatile way of playing a chord. And you'll see when we come up to that, when we go up to the A, why it's versatile. But here we have just basically between the 6th and 4th string and grabbing the 2nd and the 3rd. Now here again, what I'm doing is I'm hitting the 3rd string, putting down my pinky to get the 6th fret there, and then picking up the pinky in order to get the E note, so that last measure there, well, let's do this whole measure from the E. Now sometimes I may syncopate that. I may go like this. it's your choice as to which way you'd like to do that. I go back up to the B again. But here I'm going to syncopate it. So it's not always on the downbeat like this, but instead it's a little bit on the upbeat. Now I'm going to syncopate this part. So this is that second measure. Syncopated here. Then back to my E chord. Now, this is why I said to keep the bar chord going, because this is important. Here, I'm going to hit that E, and I'm going to take that time to move my form up here. So I have an A chord here. Or however you want to do that. But basically, if you're moving it from here, you want to move it up here and just let go of the strings for the time being. And just play those notes. So I'll take it from the E here. And that's going to set you to just get into your A chord here, which is the same shape as you were playing down here. But here it's an A chord. And here I can grab some nice little melody notes. So I have in that first measure, I just have the second and third string. And then a little syncopation. Now I'm going to grab the first string. Then I'm going to take my pinky, put it on the second string at the 12th fret, and then pick it up, and my finger at the second string, 10th fret, is going to pick up that note. So I have... So all together you have... And then I just pick up my fingers, I have an E chord right here. And here I get that little bit of a nice little kind of a pedal steel type thing going on. What I'm doing is I'm going to grab all three strings here. As I slide it up, my thumb comes and hits the open 6th string. Okay, so it's very important that you be able to get that little coordination there. Now I'm going to go back to my B chord, and here I'm going to play a little bit around with the melody. So here I get this, I have the D sharp in there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my second finger, put in my first finger, and then put it back down again. So I get this. And then I'm going to get that F sharp note in there. So that's how that measure sounds. Now I'm going to get into right back to that little pinky stretch. So altogether the two B measures will sound like this. And if you want to syncopate that little part, you can go like you can do like eighth notes there if you like. And then finally we get back to the E chord. And here we're going to do another one of those little slides. So a slide, and then our thumb comes in and grabs that 6th string. Now, that's the verse. And you can go back and forth. You can play that verse as many times as you like. And you can just keep repeating, you know, as much as you'd like. But at one point, you may want to put in the solo. And that's going to come up in the next video. I'm going to teach you how to play the solo in the next video. So work on the verse right now. So let's attempt the solo here. This is a lot of fun. Basically what I did was I took the same chord progression and it just kind of added a nice little solo to it. So let's take a look at this the solo. Here, what I'm doing is I'm going into a regular B7 chord. I'm going to let my pinky do a little bit of the work here with the F sharp note, the G natural, F sharp, and then the little C sharp in there. So I'll play this first couple of measures. Listen, play it again. So here we have that alternating bass going on back and forth between the 5th and the 4th string. Just going to be getting our pinky, stretch it, then bring it back. Then the next measure, pick it up and put it down on the C sharp note, and then syncopate the open string. And notice I picked up my pinky. I don't want this, but instead I want this, to eliminate that C sharp. So altogether it's now I'm going to be going into my E chord. I'll play these next two measures very slowly. I'll do that again. Now here, I start out with the two open strings. The bass is going back and forth between the 6th and the 4th string. I put down my pinky. And now on the upbeat, I'm going to pick up my pinky and my first finger because I want to get this open string. And when I hit it open, as I hammer, I'm going to come down with my thumb. So this is another one of those little coordination things. You know, you have to. You don't want to pick this note twice, but it's a little bit more fluid when you get that hammer on. Now, right after you get that hammer on, you're going to put down your pinky again on that C sharp note, and then you can pick it up. So you have that. And then in between, then open, nice syncopation in there. Now the next time in the second line, when we go to our B chord or our B7, I'm going to play it off of this form. Okay, a B7 form where you're borrowing. You could borrow all 6 strings. I just need the first 5 strings here to bar. My second finger, my third finger is on that 4th fret on the F sharp note. So my bass is going back and forth between. But a nice alternative to just always playing a B7 like this is this, because I get to use all these little melody notes. It takes a little bit of strength to keep that hand down, but it's well worth it because these just gives you a lot of versatility here. So my pinky's up, come down, and then I get my second finger in there to get the D natural, and then put down my pinky, and then bring in the F sharp note. So now, instead of just going back to an E chord like this, I figured I'd do. Get that little lick in here. So here, what I'm doing is a little backward banjo roll. So my thumb drops down to the 3rd string, and I'm in this little E7 shape here. I get down to the 3rd string, my middle finger grabs the 1st string, my index grabs the 2nd string, and then my thumb comes back down on the 3rd string again. Then I hit an open string, and then bring my second finger back on the third string at the second fret, and lay down my third finger here. So I have you get that moving. Sounds really cool. Then back to the E. And getting that little C sharp note in there. Now when I go into my A7, I'm going to start it back here. And I'm going to slide it. Now I'm going to add my pinky to the G, bring it back to the F sharp, and then pick it up for the E. Then I'm going to do this little lick like that as I get back into my E chord. Now, really, the E chord, this is all really part of an E chord. It's kind of like playing off of this here, and then it's all together, that whole little line. Get that? I'm sorry. All right, got to read those quarter notes. Now here, this is actually part of a little bit of a B chord, but I'm going to do this nice little lick that eventually brings us back into an E. And again, I'm doing that little roll that we discussed before, thumb, middle, index. So I bring it back. See me just using the first and second finger and bring it back. Then I'm going to use my second and third finger and bring it back, but pick up my third finger and bring it back and put my third finger back down again. So I have, and now I'm going to go into a little E6 chord, and again that same little roll. Finally to the E. Now at this point, I'm going to go DS al coda, meaning DS go to the sign, and that's really basically the sign is going back to the verse. So I'm going to play that whole verse all the way through until I get to the next page where you see the Dakota. Okay, where's I get this. So I get this, and then now when you see that Dakota, that simply means at that point, do not play the E chord right after it, but instead you're going to jump down to the bottom of the page. Jump down to the bottom of the page, and you're going to see the E chord there again, but this is going to bring you to the ending. So we have the same chord, and then we can end it. At least that's the way I like arranging this particular song. Again, when it's following the navigation. So when you get done with your solo, you could go back to a verse, go back to the sign, and then play a verse straight through. And then when you're just about finished with that verse, when you get that little, going to be down at the bottom. And it takes you to the ending. So that's my arrangement of I Walk the Line. I hope you have a lot of fun with this one.